side, Alex Rodriguez, Big Papi, David Ortiz, and the Big Herb, Frank Thomas. It is a day that blends history and memory. And Alex, as a native New Yorker, we start with you and your strongest, clearest memory from 20 years ago.
Yeah, Tom, I can't believe it's 20 years. And it was an early morning in San Francisco for me. We were playing the Oakland A's. And like most Americans, I was experiencing a litany of emotions from shock, disbelief, horror, followed by grief, mourning, and anger. And as a native New Yorker, Papi and Frank, there's not a day that I'm in this city that I do not think about the men and women that lost their lives.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I was in Detroit playing at the time with the Minnesota Twins. One of my boys, my really good friend and brother, was Guerrero. He was working at the D&G store very close to the World Trade Center. After the first airplane hit, he called me right away. He don't know what was going on. He thought it was an accident. And all of a sudden, while we're talking, the second airplane hit. This guy survived. He's still alive. But I feel the impact of the second airplane through the phone call. But I can imagine how bad everything was going on by the time throughout the phone call.
Well, I was at home rehabbing a serious tricep injury, and I was up that early in the morning because of it. I was watching the news, and I happened to see the breaking news of the plane into the building, and I thought it was just an accident. Between 5 and 8 minutes later, I saw the second plane go in, and right away I thought, my teammates are in New York City. The White Sox were here playing. I started calling teammates because I know the guys are not up that early in the morning. Finally, I got to Mike Gellinger, one of our coaches, and he was running down 42nd from the Grand Hyatt, and he was like, I can't talk right now. Something serious is going on, and I can hear the chaos, and that's all I heard for the next 24 hours.
So many emotions, the uncertainty, the confusion, the fear, but ultimately the unity that swept over this country in the wake of what had happened, from history to memory. But right now, let's head up to the booth, and the men will be calling the game for their perspective. Joe Buck and John Smoltz. Men?
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Great to have you guys with us here tonight. This is going to be an emotional night in this ballpark, to be sure. You know, everybody on this day, John's thinking about where they were when they heard, how they felt. I was just a young dad at the time and feeling vulnerable. I was so taken by the first responders who were running into those towers knowing that they may not come out, and just the bravery that they exhibited that day and really every day. Heck, but it was described to me the other day by somebody who said, if you're from New York, 9/11 is just different. It's just different. This city was hit. And we're going to see a lot of emotion in the stadium tonight. When I say 9/11 to you, what comes to your mind?
I remember riding in a car and hearing on the news what had happened, you know, over the radio, and I couldn't believe it. And I called home, and then, of course, I got my kids. And I was glued to the TV. You know, as a baseball player, you're conditioned every day to play, and baseball stopped, obviously. The world stopped. And I can never forget the moments. I can never forget what happened each and every hour. And then 10 days later, we were in New York, and that flight into New York is something I'll never forget. I'll forget a lot of baseball games and memories, but I won't forget what it meant to heal. And that baseball game helped this city heal. It's the first time as a competitor, I didn't care about winning. It's the first time shaking hands with the other team and knowing that this was more important. This building back what USA means was unbelievable. It's hard to believe it's 20 years ago because it's still fresh. And I don't know that we'll ever forget about this.
There's no doubt we will not.